This is the Facebook campus, the nerve center of a digital landscape where billions of dollars are managed by black box algorithms. While most advertisers focus on mastering the software, the most effective campaigns are actually built on the same principles of written salesmanship that fueled direct mail decades ago. These two ads appear on the same platform, but they achieve vastly different results. On the left, a typical failure that merely lists product features. On the right, an ad with blurred text that has generated massive engagement. The difference is the quality of the persuasive copy. That engagement is a direct result of tapping into a psychological pull. Effective ad copy doesn't create desire from nothing. It identifies the mass desire that already exists within the target market and channels it toward a solution. To see how this applies to a competitive field, we're going to build a campaign for a local weight loss coaching program. Fixing a zero-click ad campaign requires us to look past the audience targeting settings and start scientifically matching our words to the audience's pre-existing internal wants. We analyze mass desire through three specific pillars: the urgency of the demand, how often that desire is renewed in the prospect, and the total number of people who share it. When we condense these pillars into an ad, they form the headline. The headline's only task is to stop the prospect from scrolling and compel them to read the very first sentence of the body copy. The content of that headline depends on the state of awareness. We have to determine if the prospect knows the product, only knows they have a problem, or is completely unaware that a problem even exists. Consider a prospect who is completely unaware of your product and hasn't yet defined their exact problem. In this scenario, what should the headline actually focus on? At this stage, the headline avoids the product entirely. Instead, it must echo a vague emotional frustration to bind the audience together, putting their unspoken feelings into words. We also have to account for the state of sophistication. In the weight loss market, prospects are exhausted by repetitive claims like "lose 40 pounds." They have heard these promises so often, they no longer believe them. To restore believability in a crowded market like Atlanta, we introduce a specific mechanism. Instead of a generic claim, we highlight an Atlanta food expert's Eat and Reduce plan. The mechanism gives the old promise a fresh, believable basis. Calibrating the headline to the audience's awareness and sophistication is how we earn the right to present the actual pitch in the body copy. Now we can construct the body text. We'll follow the 7 landmarks blueprint to build the ad sentence by sentence. Landmark 1 is presentation. This first sentence puts the product into action, describing the physical results the prospect can expect. Landmark 2 is personalization. Here, we write a sentence that connects those results to the prospect's identity or their personal belief systems. Landmark 3 builds the architecture of belief. The previous 2 sentences have established enough factual ground for the reader to accept the more significant claim we're making here. At Landmark 4, we preemptively answer objections. This sentence addresses concerns about price, complexity, or trust before the prospect has a chance to move on. Landmark 5 explains the mechanism. This sentence demonstrates exactly how the product functions to achieve the promised results. Landmark 6 is the competitive attack. We highlight a specific weakness in a competitor's approach to show why our method is a more effective choice for the prospect's needs. Landmark 7 borrows authority. We use a testimonial, survey data, or a professional credential to provide a final layer of validation. These 7 landmarks create a path of psychological alignment. Each sentence builds on the previous one to address identity, mechanical doubt, and industry distrust as we move toward the call to action. Here is the completed ad. You can see the progression from the initial hook to the final invitation to buy. Notice how the specific mechanism in the headline stops the scroll, while the sequential body copy provides proofs validating claims as the reader moves down. You can use this 3-column cheat sheet for your own campaigns. First, harness mass desire. Second, match the state of awareness. And third, sequence the 7 landmarks. These 3 pillars are the core of the SoDRM Ads Playbook, providing a structured way to apply the psychology of salesmanship to modern social platforms. Now open a blank document and begin drafting your next ad by following this exact sequence.